Welcome to this video. Today we are going to discuss about DNA fingerprint. Now, DNA fingerprinting is the technique of creating a unique DNA profile for any individual that may be a person or any other living organism. So, the main theory here is that every organism or every individual, he or she has a very specific or unique DNA profile. So that is the basis of this particular technique. So for this PCR, DNA sequencing or restriction digestion, these different techniques can be used. Now this DNA fingerprinting, this is basically used in different fields of biology. DNA profiling, DNA testing, DNA analysis, genetic profile, DNA identification, genetic fingerprinting, genetic analysis. So all of this basically revolves around the same principle of this DNA fingerprinting, but based on the different application or different utilization, it has been named different. Sir Alex Jeffrey, and very renowned British scientist, so he developed this technique back in 1984. However, in India, the person who is responsible for the popularization of this DNA fingerprinting and also legalization of this DNA fingerprinting is Dr. Lalji Singh, and he is known as the father of DNA fingerprinting in India. Okay, so let's see what exactly is this DNA fingerprinting, or what is so unique about this DNA. So approximately 99% of our genome is exactly same. So if you find go for the DNA sequencing of any 5 individual, you will see among them approximately 99.9% is exactly the same. So only difference is in the 0.1%, and that is enough to distinguish one person from another. So just based on the 0.1%, when performing this DNA fingerprinting, emphasis is being given on this 0.1%, and this is actually enough to distinguish one person from another. Okay, so now how unique is this? So it has been estimated that for a normal individual, the chance of having the same DNA profile is 1 in 10,000 billion, given that the current world population is approximately 7.8 billion. So that much unique is your DNA profile. And why is this called as DNA fingerprinting? As you know, fingerprint is a very unique thing. So for every individual, his or her this fingerprint, that is unique and that is used to distinguish from one person to another. So if you go for any sophisticated security system, that goes for the sensors that basically scans your fingerprint, because it is said that no two person do have the same finger. Same ways or likewise, this DNA profile, this also is very unique for one person, and no two person can have the same DNA fingerprinting. So because this is as unique as fingerprint, so that's why this is called as DNA fingerprint. Okay, so now let's assume this blue thing, this is the genome, and this white rectangles over here, these are the genes. Now why it has been drawn in this way is because it has been estimated that nearly 97% of our genome, that is, we're talking about human, that does not code for any gene. Only 3% that code for all the genes that gets expressed in our cell. So rest, this 97%, what is this? Previously it was called as junk DNA. But now scientists have discovered that this has got an immense regulatory region. So what is that? So these regions regulate the expression of these different coding regions or the genes. So when this will be expressed in a higher level, when this will be expressed in a lower level, all these things are being maintained by this regulatory region. So apart from that, there is another region in our genome which is called as repetitive region. So in that, what has been seen is the same sequence that is repeated time and again. Important thing here, this particular repetitive region, this is very conservative, and any mutation in this, that causes harm in the DNA replication for that particular organism. So this particular region, these are called as satellites. So satellites, these are highly repetitive DNA regions. They are located on chromosome number 196, Y chromosome, and in tiny short arms of the chromosome number 13, 14, 15, 21 and 22, and also near the centromeres of the chromosome. So these are the areas where these repetitive regions have been found out. Now this satellite region, this can be divided into two parts, mini satellite and micro satellite. So mini satellite, these are region containing repeated DNA sequence of 10 to 100 base pair, and this area is repeated 5 to 50 times. So suppose you have a very specific region or very specific 10 to 100 DNA sequence region, and that particular region is repeated 5 to 10 to 15 to 30 times. And now what important thing here is that for any individual, this particular sequence is very much conserved. However, what differs from one person to another is how many number it is repeated. So as I mentioned, 5 to 50 times. So the sequence is going to be the same, but how many times it is repeated in a genome, that differs from one person to another. Okay, variable number tandem repeat, VNTR, which is a very widely used molecular marker. This is an example of mini satellite, and these are highly variable, unique and GC rich. Now just to explain how this thing varies from one person of another. So this area, as you can see here, this bordered area, this is one such sequence. This is a very arbitrary one, just for the explanation. So this is 12 nucleotide long. Now this particular sequence will be exactly same for all the individuals that you study. But what is going to differ is how many number of times it is repeated. Suppose for this one, this is repeated, for individual 1 this is repeated 5 times, for individual 2 it is repeated 7 times, and so on. So this is how the difference from one person to another happens. And second is the microsatellite. They are smaller than mini satellite. It is 1 to 6 base pair long and 5 to 10 times the repetition. So previous one was 10 to 100 base pair long. This one is 1 to 6 base pair long. Basically 2 to 6 base pair. STR, that is short tandem repeat. This is an example of this microsatellite, and this is also called as SSR, simple sequence repeat. So these two are the same thing. This region is also hyper variable, that is from one person to another it varies, non-coding, telomeric, and likewise the VNTR, same. Okay, telomeric means they are situated at the, near the telomere. Now the next thing that can come in your mind, so suppose in this example, as I mentioned, this is repeated 5 times, this is repeated 7 times. So, and if I just talk about human, approximately 8.7 billion humans are present on it. So there is a very high probability that more than one person will have 5 repetitions of this particular mini satellite. Now where does come the uniqueness, or how can we segregate one person to another? The thing is that there are numerous, so this is just one loci. So there are numerous such loci that is present throughout the gene. Just to give you an example, I hope all of you can identify, this is a pair. So one study on the genome of this particular species that had identified 1,56,396 SSR loci in their whole genome. If you just think about this one particular loci, the 5 repetition in this loci, that may be present in thousands if not lakhs of. But now if you start adding more loci, then the probability starts to decrease, that more than one person will have the same profile. So, and ultimately if you take into consideration all the loci present, it goes approximately 10,000 billion. 1 in 10,000 billion. So that is the probability. But having said that, for any studies which are being done on using this SSR markers or during this fingerprinting, 15 to 20 loci, they have given very good result, or they have given very good reproducibility. They can identify or differentiate one species from another, one person to another. If not, you can further add the number of loci. Okay, now coming to the technique. So there are 3 basic techniques using which this DNA fingerprinting can be done or achieved. So that is RFLP based analysis, PCR based analysis, and real-time PCR analysis. So this is the 3 ones. So among them, RFLP is the oldest one, which RFLP based analysis was done by Dr. Jeffries when he first introduced or developed this technique. So let's see how each of these techniques can be performed. Okay. First, you have to collect the samples. The biological samples used for DNA fingerprinting can be blood, hair, saliva, semen, buccal swab, anything among them. The next step is to extract the DNA from this biological sample. So once that is done, then this extracted DNA can be utilized for RFLP, PCR and qPCR technique. So what is done in the RFLP? So first, so let's assume that this is the DNA extracted from any individual. When you use the RFLP technique, first restriction endonuclease enzymes that are utilized to make small fragments of the entire DNA sample. Next, agarose gel electrophoresis is performed, wherein these fragments, they are separated from one another based on their size and molecular weight. Next step is to transfer these DNA bands from this agarose gel into a nitrocellulose membrane. So in this, what is happened? So suppose this is a Petri plate, on that this is a stand. On top of that you have filter paper, then you place the gel, then you place the nitrocellulose membrane, then again you place filter paper, paper towels and weight. You have buffer in here. So by the capillary action, this DNA is being transferred from the agarose gel and to the nitrogen. So the reason why this is done is because agarose gel is very unstable. If the temperature rises, then there is a chance that this particular gel will melt. So nitrocellulose membrane is a better option. Next, to this, so as you can see, after you keep it for overnight, then on to this nitrocellulose membrane, exact replica of this DNA bands has been made. So they have been transferred. Next, you have to prepare some oligonucleotides or DNA probes. So what are the DNA probes? They are exactly same as the DNA primers. They have the complementary sequence to that of a very particular region. So in this, suppose the STR regions will be targeted. So these oligonucleotide probes, they have a sequence which is complementary to the STR regions, and this is number one. And secondly, they are radio labeled. So this radioactive probe are allowed to hybridize with the DNA present on the nitrocellulose membrane. So what will happen during this incubation is that the DNA bands here, for those we will have the complementary sequence to this DNA probe, so DNA probe will go and bind in. So after this incubation period, next we have to wash off this so that the unbound primers or unbound probes, they are washed away. Next, we will expose this whole thing in front of X. So what will happen is, as because these probes are radio labeled, so wherever these probes will go and bind to their complementary sequence, those areas will illuminate under the X-ray, as because they are radioactive. Okay, so by that you will get to know whether those STS are present or not. So this is using this RFLP, and then using this you will have a very specific or unique DNA band or DNA profile for any individual. So this is how DNA fingerprinting is being achieved or is being done using RFLP. Now coming to the PCR, in PCR, as you know, we use primer. So instead of this DNA probes here, we will be using primer, which is complementary to the DNA sequence. The whole DNA sequence will be taken into the Eppendorf tube along with the other chemicals which are needed for PCR, like Taq polymerase, then your buffer, DNTPs, etc. And the primer, same way as here the complementary sequences were used as DNA probes. So here also the same DNA primers will be used, which are complementary to the STR regions. And then we'll go for agarose gel electrophoresis, and based on this agarose electrophoresis, there will be a specific profile which will be prepared. But also, if it is needed, then we can go for sequencing of those DNA samples to give a more reproducible result. And so this is the second option, and this is, by the way, the most widely used technique over nowadays, and RFLP is the one which was used by Dr. Jeffries, Alex Jeffries, when he first developed this technique. And the last is quantitative PCR. So this is the very latest technique in which the quantity of the DNA sample will also be estimated. So that is most latest one. So these are the techniques using which DNA fingerprinting can be achieved. Okay. Now coming to the applications, the major application of DNA fingerprinting, the first one is the forensic or in solving crime. So as we have seen, a very specific DNA profile for each individual can be prepared using this DNA fingerprint. So using that particular profile, the culprits or the criminals, they are identified. As you already know, there are multiple STS present. There is an Y STS, male and female, they can be XX and XY. So using this Y STR, the male and female, they can be differentiated. And apart from that, different countries use different number of STRs for this DNA fingerprinting. For example, UK uses 16, so basically they used to have 11 STRs, but now they have introduced 5 more. So they use a total of 16 STRs, including this plus this Y STR. And USA uses a total of 13 STR for this DNA profile. Alright, and now there's another application, that is the linking blood relation or paternity analysis. That is another application of DNA fingerprinting. Okay, let's see this example. So here, the first one, this is the profile for mother, second one is a child, and third one is the father. So as you can see, these are the two different STRs which are present in the mother, and these are the two present in the father. Now, as you know, for any child, 50% of their the genetic information come from the father's side and 50% come from the mother's side. So here, as you can see, this number 6 one, this has been transferred from the mother to the child, and this one has been transferred from the father to the child. But still, using this technique, you can even differentiate between the father, mother and the child. That is, only half of their genetic material has been transferred to the child. The rest half, that is still unique for that particular individual. So even there is a 50% there might be 50% similarity in the genome between the mother and child. Rest 50% of the mother is still unique for her own identification. Okay, so let's say an example here. So this is the DNA profile for a female. This is an infant, and this is male 1 and male 2, and this is by the an example of paternity analysis. So if you just go through here, these 4 bands or these through STRs, this has been transferred into the infant from the female side, whereas this 1, 2, 3 and 4, these were rather this 1, 2, 3, 4 which are unique in this infant, that is, they have not come from the female or the mother side, so that must have come from the father side. So if you compare the genetic profile of these two persons, then you will see that this male 2, this has got all the STRs which is present in the infant but not present in the female. From this particular DNA fingerprinting or DNA profile, what you can conclude is that this male 2, this is the probable father of this particular infant. So this is how DNA fingerprinting is being used in paternity analysis. And this is another example for the forensics one. So this is the DNA profile for the victims that has been collected from the blood. This is the DNA profile which has been created using the samples found in defendant's shirt, and this is the DNA profile which have been prepared from the defendant's blood. So now, as you can see here, the defendant's shirt, the DNA profile obviously it matches with the defendant blood, but also it has got STRs which are present in the victim's blood but not in the defendant's blood. So thereby you can say that this person or basically this particular defendant or accused, this is the culprit, as because the victim's blood, the STRs present in the victim's blood, that was also found in the DNA profile prepared from the biological samples found on defendant's shirt. So this is how this DNA fingerprinting is used in forensics. So that's all for this video. So if you have liked this content, then please like and share the video, and also subscribe to this channel for the inspiration and also for channel sub. Thank you.